Hi there, Alicia Jones here from the Attorney Cheat Code podcast, and I had the honor of being interviewed about the podcast, and we really delved into the cheat code circles. They're coming up every Friday in October at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. Come into the room, turn on that video, and let's build together. Listen into this snippet of the podcast, and I'll be back after.
So welcome back, everyone. We're here with our fantastic guest, and we're about to dive into what the Attorney Cheat Code is all about. So first, let's give folks a little bit of an intro, and then we'll jump into all the juicy planning details.
All right, that sounds good. Let's go. I'm excited to be here.
I love the enthusiasm. All right, let's roll with it and have some fun. We'll keep it lively and make sure everyone listening is as excited as you are by the end. Let's dive right in.
Okay, what do you want to know first, Kavi?
Well, let's kick it off by getting a little bit of the origin story. I'd love to hear in your own words how the Attorney Cheat Code podcast came to be and what inspired you to start it. And then from there, we'll jump into all the good stuff about the planning circles and what makes October such a clutch time to plan.
Oh, very good question. So the Attorney Cheat Code podcast was born out of my own frustration, right? So coming up in practice, no one handing me a firm. My parents were not firm owners. Nobody in my family was a firm owner. So I'm like, okay, where do I start? How do I grow? What does growth look like? What's scalable? What books do I need to read? What resources do I need? And really having to get those things on my own. Of course, having wonderful mentors along the way, but no one was really practicing the law in the way that I want to, in the way that I want to serve my clients. So I decided that I wanted to be the resource that I needed years ago. Someone to say, okay, well, this is how you start. This is something that you need to consider when you're thinking about diving in, when you're thinking about, owning a firm. These are the different areas of the firm. And, this is what it takes, or this is how you can make sure that you're successful.
That's fantastic. And I think that's such a relatable story for so many people. So you basically created the resource you wished you had, which is always the best inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's shift gears a bit and talk about the Attorney Cheat Code circles and why you picked October as this key planning month. And of course, we'll get into all those areas: financing, staffing, community, and just set the stage for people to plan like a CEO.
Okay. I knew you were going to ask me that. So when it comes to October, just to say, when it comes to planning period, people think you need to plan in January because that's the month that you're going to do the Daniel's fast. That's the month that the church is going to come together and set vision. That is the month that maybe some firms take a week or two off to really plan and set vision and things like that for their firm. But for me, when I'm in the thick of it, it's hard to plan. It's really hard to stop. So October of the year prior will allow your mental space for you to have a little mental space to be able to plan. It will allow for you to really think about, where am I now? It's the key point, and it's clutch to me, that in October of every year, you have enough of the year behind you to know if you've hit your goal, or if you're about to hit the goal at the end of the year, or if you need to transition or pivot or switch up some things so that you can make sure that you hit your goal. The other thing that allows you to do is have some more energy to finish the year strong, and then to start the next year even stronger. You're able to really sit down before the holiday rush, before Thanksgiving, before Christmas and New Year's and all of that, the school, kids being out of school and travel and family coming in. Before any of that starts, you can take October, which is what I do. I take October and I'm thinking through, okay, what does the firm look like next year? What changes do I need? Where do I want to be? Because this is my firm. So where do I want to be? Do I want to travel more next year? And if so, what does that look like? If I wait until January to do that, the year has already started and I'm behind the eight ball, honestly. So October for me is clutch because of all of those reasons. It gets you ahead of the game, and it allows for you to have a little bit of mental space to end the year with some more energy and zest, and starting the next year strong.
I love that perspective. And I think that's going to resonate with a lot of folks. Doing that planning in October really does give you that breathing room before the holiday rush. And it's such a good point that by then you actually know how your year is going, so you can plan realistically. So let's dive into those key areas you mentioned. We'll talk a little bit about how to think about your finances going into the new year, how to assess your staffing needs, and of course, how to build that community both within and outside your firm. Let's get into it.
Okay, so ask away. I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. So, first up, let's talk about the financial side of planning. When you're guiding attorneys on how to plan their finances for the next year in October, what are the top things you encourage them to look at or to put on their radar so they can hit the ground running financially in the new year?
Oh, good question. So definitely, you want to consider and think about the financial portfolio. Where are you now and what plans do you have? Because when you think about finances, it's not just about how much you're bringing in. It's not just about the income, the accounts receivable, but it's also about the plans moving forward. In the next 3 to 5 years, are you wanting to scale and have a bigger office? Are you wanting to purchase an office? Do you want to scale down? Because the attorney cheat code circle is not just for new attorneys. It's not just for the baby attorneys that are like, where do I go? But it's also for our 25, 20, 30-year attorneys that have been practicing, but you've been doing it in a way that does not allow for you to live life well. And that is something that also was one of the reasons I started the Attorney Cheat Code podcast is because I don't want to be, one of the attorneys that's 70, 80 years old and I'm downtown running behind cases, unless that's really just what I want to do. But a lot of them, and the attorneys I've spoken to, they kind of just feel trapped. You've been practicing and you don't see a way out. This is all that you know. So the Attorney Cheat Code podcast, it really is to give you the tools to succeed, to build a firm around your life versus the other way around. And just because you're 20, 25, 30 years in the game does not mean that you cannot pivot. And now let's look at our finances. So you asked, one of the topics that we'll talk about, and that is definitely it, the finances and what is the plan and the goal for the years coming up. So do your finances today reflect where you want to be in 3 years, 5 years? In the way that you are actually conducting your finances, in the way that you are acquiring clients, does that reflect where you want to be in the next few years? And if it doesn't, let's start to make a plan today to change it so we can actually live the life that we want to live. The other area that we want to think about is your staffing. Do you need staff? Or do you currently have staff that you know you need to let go? You know they are not doing well. Every time you look at them, you're like, my goodness, you're wasting my money and my time. You may have staff that you don't even trust the work that they are doing, that every time that they submit something, you hardly even look at it. You just go ahead and do it yourself. So why are they there? Let them go. Invite them to new opportunities at different law firms, because if they are not a good fit for you, then it can't be a good feeling for them either. And of course, if you have other teammates on the team, then it's going to bring down the entire team. You're only as strong as your weakest link. So make that weakest link like the LeBron. Like if LeBron is my weakest link, then I'm good to go. So you want to look at your finances, you want to look at your staffing, you need to know your numbers. Where am I today so that you can really plan for the next few years? And those are just a few of the areas that we'll discuss in the Attorney Cheat Code circles.
Absolutely love that. I mean, you just painted such a clear picture of why it's so important to look at those finances and staffing now and not wait. And I think that's going to resonate with so many people, whether they're newer attorneys or, like you said, they've been in the game 20 plus years and they need that pivot. So that's fantastic. All right. So from there, we'll just flow right into community building and mindset. And I think by the end of this conversation, folks are going to have a really solid roadmap. Let's keep going.
That sounds good. Yeah. When you think about community engagement and your firm, it's like, okay, what does my firm mean to the community that I'm in or the community that I serve? When people think about my firm, is it a firm that takes from clients? Is it a firm that disrespects clients? Is it a firm that does not care? Or is it a firm that really takes time to make people feel cared for and heard and seen? That's one of the biggest things that our clients want to experience when they come to us, is that you actually care, that you actually want to take time to listen and to understand what they're going through. Yeah, this may have been the 900th case just like this, but this person is the first time that they're having this experience. Oftentimes, clients will come to us and it's the first time they've ever even spoken to an attorney, the first time they've ever had to hire one. So they're already intimidated by the process. They're intimidated to talk to us. So when we're thinking about that whole client experience and the way that we engage our community, it is, what does that look like? And if you're not intentional to set that up about how that looks for your firm, then every person that comes into your firm is going to have their own idea. Not so, not over here. I want to make ensure that when someone comes into my firm, they understand this is how we talk to clients. This is how we address them. This is the respect that we give. This is what is expected at all times. Because then, of course, we expect the same from our clients. So, how we engage our client community is very important. The other part of that is how do we engage our community around us? Are we setting up maybe some charities or some community service events, a will-a-thon, or some free webinars so we can educate our community about the divorce process or your rights when it comes to criminal law, because we for sure need that. So just that, what does the community engagement look like? Again, being intentional, because if you are not, you're going to look up and it's going to be March of the next year. And you're like, oh, I really wanted to have something. I really wanted to be a part of this spring break fiesta, but you didn't take time to actually plan that. So now you've missed out on another year. And then you look up and 10 years have passed, 12 years has passed, and you have no idea where your firm is going or where it's been. And neither does your team.
Absolutely. And that's such a powerful reminder that being intentional really is everything. I mean, you're absolutely right. If you don't plan that out, you blink and suddenly a decade has gone by. So I love that you're building that into the cheat code circle and helping people be proactive about it. And I think with all of that, it's going to give people not just the mindset they need, but really that sense of control and direction. So this is awesome. I think we've got a really solid interview shaping up, and I can't wait to see how it all comes together.
Absolutely. I'm so excited for the cheat code circles and what that can mean for firm owners. I did not have a safe place to plan in this way. And I believe that by coming together as firm owners with all of our different mindsets and ideas and visions and plans, we can support each other. We can hold each other accountable. We can cheer each other on. It's lonely sometimes as a firm owner, and you just really want to be able to stand around the water cooler and gossip about the latest whatever awards and did you see what she wore? Did you hear what they said? But as a firm owner, sometimes it's lonely because you're the one that's controlling all the things. You're the one that's wearing all the hats, and you don't really get that time to just sit and reflect with people at your level. And I don't want to say that we're above anybody in our staff, but our staff does not have the requirement to plan for the firm. That's on us. So to be able to sit with other like-minded individuals, other people, other firm owners that are going through the same thing is dynamic. It really is. And I also want to dispel the myth that attorneys can only there were crabs in a barrel, that we can't share anything, that by me giving you some information and sharing ideas with you, somehow that's going to make my firm worse, or my success means that you can't be successful. That is absolutely not the truth. So I want to make sure that we are coming together because together we're stronger. Real talk.
Absolutely. And I think that's such a beautiful note to really emphasize that sense of community and lifting each other up, because you're right. It can get lonely at the top, and having a space where you can share ideas and not feel like you're competing, but you're actually collaborating is huge. So I think with everything we've covered, this is going to be such a great episode. We've got the financial planning piece, the staffing, the community engagement, the mindset, and just that whole idea of doing it together and supporting each other. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. I'm excited for the firm artists that will come on, and I'm excited also to hear who has actually planned this way before and to walk together. So not just to plan in October, but to then stay in community with each other and say, hey, I heard that you wanted to learn more about this practice area. I see this training coming up. You may want to do it, or maybe you want to be a speaker and you want to speak at certain CLEs. Now you have a community of people that are watching you grow and understand you. So now they're also going to have their eyes and ears open for you and say, actually, I heard about this CLE that's coming up. You may want to check it out. Are so that they're looking for speakers, or maybe you want to speak for the bar and, present in that way. That is something also that you are now able to do. I'm going to have some rapid fire questions about the Cheat Code Circle or about the Cheat Code podcast. I am ready. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. We'll have a little fun with the lightning round. So, first rapid fire question in just a couple of words. What's one thing you wish every attorney knew before they launch their own firm?
Ooh, what is one thing I wish every attorney knew before launching their own firm? That's a really good question. I wish attorneys knew that The desire to have the firm is the fire that they need to start.
Oh, I love that. That's a perfect nugget of wisdom right there. All right, here's another quick one. If you had to sum up the vibe of the cheat code circles in one word, what would it be?
Ooh, one word. That's hard. That is very hard. Um, Collaboration.
Perfect. Collaboration sums it up beautifully and really captures that spirit you're bringing. All right, last rapid fire question just for fun. What's your favorite way to unwind after a big planning session or a really long day of wearing all the hats as a firm owner?
Oh, sis. So I love a few things. It's either going to be an Audible. I like thrillers on Audible and listening to how the things are going and really imagining in my mind what it actually looks like. That is my deal for sure. Or, a little Netflix and chill with the hubby on the couch. No kids, kids in the bed. Just chilling, relaxing, and watching some mindless TV, honestly.
That sounds absolutely perfect. A good thriller or Audible or just some chill time on the couch with a show definitely sounds like the ideal way to unwind after a big day. All right, that was a fun little lightning round, and I think we've covered a lot of great ground. This is going to be a fantastic episode.
It is. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited about the Cheat Code Circles. They will be every Friday in October at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. Just come onto the webinar, not webinar, I'm sorry, just come onto the Zoom. You'll get a Zoom link when you sign up. And just come on in, cameras on, because we are collaborating, we are working together, and we are growing.
Absolutely. That sounds fantastic. And I love that you're setting it up so everyone can really come together and actually see each other and collaborate in real time. So, for anyone listening, definitely mark your calendars for Fridays in October, noon central. It's going to be a great time. Thanks so much for being here and sharing all of this. It's been a blast.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. It was absolutely my pleasure. I'm glad we got to dive into all of this, and I know it's going to be fantastic for everyone who joins. So, good luck with the cheat code circles, and I'm here whenever you need me.
Okay, so hopefully, if you had questions about the cheat code circles, that podcast interview answered them for you. That was very fun to do, I have to admit. So I want to see you in the room October every Friday, 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. We are going into the new year with our minds clear and our vision set. We are going to know our numbers, we're going to know where we're going, and we're going to be able to clearly communicate that to anybody that we talk to. So make sure that you check out this next video about the CEO workflow that's going to help you to get your mind ready as we go into these planning sessions every Friday in October, 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you in the room.